Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Ryan Jackson here, continuing on the 100 days of the 2023 changes to the National Electrical Code. We're at Article 422, which covers appliances. And here in the 2023 edition, there really isn't too much to talk about in Article 422. Probably the biggest change that was made is in 422.16, which talks about flexible cords. So let's take a peek and we'll see what it says. Flexible cords. The rules for trash compactor cords were revised for consistency with dishwasher cords. Makes sense. I mean, probably ought to have, if not the exact same rules, at least rules that are very, very similar, and now we do. So let's take a look. 422.16 talks about flexible cords. B is for specific appliances. Item 2 covers dishwashers and trash compactors. Now, here in the photograph, I am showing a dishwasher, and I chose to show this type of dishwasher because I think for a lot of us, myself included, when we think of a dishwasher, we probably think of a residential type of dishwasher that we all have in our kitchen. But that's not the limitations of this section. It applies to any dishwasher. So you can have a 480 volt 3-phase cord and plug connected dishwasher. What's the rules for the cord? 422.16b2. So dishwashers and trash compactors can be connected by cords if allowed by the appliance instructions and if items 1 through 7 are complied with. All right, so here in the photograph, of course, I'm not showing a dishwasher or a trash compactor. I'm showing an in-sink waste disposer. But down at the bottom, we've got our dishwasher cord. So there's the cord penetrating through the cabinet, and we're going to talk about that little opening right there and whether or not that still complies. So going through that opening, plugging in under the kitchen sink, that's our dishwasher cord. Let's see if that satisfies the rules. Item 1. For trash compactors, the cord has to be at least 3 feet long, but not longer than 4 feet, measured from the back of the appliance. All right, so for a trash compactor, the receptacle for the trash compactor can actually be behind the appliance itself. So 3 to 4 foot worth of cord, that's a decent amount of cord that we can have, long enough that we can pull it out, right, 3 feet, and get back there and unplug it, remove it, replace it, service it, do whatever we have to do. Item 2, for dishwashers, the cord has to be at least 3 feet long, but not longer than 6.5 feet, measured from the back of the appliance. All right, so just like a trash compactor, it has to be at least 3 feet, but we can go all the way up to 6.5 feet. And the reason for that, and we haven't got to it quite yet, is the receptacle for a dishwasher cannot be located behind the dishwasher anymore. That was a change made in 2020 to correspond and correlate with the product standard. So for years, the instructions for a dishwasher said, don't put the receptacle behind the unit. But of course, a lot of people didn't know that the instructions said that. I mean, man, if you're an inspector, it's pretty tough to read the instructions of every single product that gets installed. So if you're saying, well, my inspector lets me put it behind the unit, it's probably because they didn't know that the instructions prohibited it. So instead of just leaving it in the instructions, if that rule is found in all dishwasher instructions, well, then let's put it in the code. And that way we can all see it more readily, which I think is a good thing. So got to be at least 3 feet long, up to 6.5 feet, so that we can get it into an adjacent appliance space. Item 3. The receptacle has to be located to protect the cord from damage. The code doesn't quite tell us how to do that. Remember in 400.12, the cord article, it says cords are not allowed to be subject to physical damage, which makes sense. So this rule is saying, listen, put the receptacle somewhere where the receptacle placement itself will limit damage to the cord. And again, it doesn't say how to do that, but it just kind of says do your best. Item 4. Receptacles for a trash compactor can be in the space occupied by the appliance, or it can be adjacent to it, and the cord has to be protected by a grommet, a smooth edge, or similar if it passes through a cabinet. Now, that language was already there for dishwashers. So why wasn't it there for trash compactors? Well, it probably should have, and now it is. So if we go back one more slide here, this is kind of a strange idea, but this little pass-through right here potentially was a violation in the 2020 code. I mean, is that a smooth edge? Doesn't look like it. Is it a grommet? Bushing? No. So that's probably a violation if it was for the dishwasher, but not if it was for the trash compactor, which is pretty ridiculous. So now the two rules say the same thing. If we keep reading, item 5, the receptacle for the dishwasher, like we said, has to be adjacent to the space occupied by the appliance. So here in the photograph, we've got that receptacle right at the bottom of the cabinet, and you can see that's going to be behind the dishwasher. That's a violation. We need to move that thing underneath the sink and put the cord through the cabinet, put a plastic bushing, a grommet, some sort of protection there, and we're good to go. So it has to be in the space adjacent to the space occupied by the appliance. Again, cord has to be protected by a grommet, smooth edge, or similar. Item 6, the receptacle has to be accessible. Well, yeah, I mean, you go to Article 100, all receptacles have to be accessible. It doesn't have to be readily accessible. It does have to be accessible, and accessible means that it's basically not buried behind the drywall. So, yeah, obviously it has to be accessible. Item 7, the cord has to terminate in a grounding type attachment plug. This is a violation here. My friend Jeff Bauer up in Pennsylvania sent me this pic. He was an inspector and was doing an inspection, pulled out the dishwasher, and lo and behold, the grounding terminal, somebody had broken it off. Brand new building. So yeah, pretty dangerous, and things like that is one of the reasons why we need GFCI protection for equipment, in case somebody does that. So there you go. There's the rules in 422.16. We'll see you on the next video when we get into Article 440, covering air conditioning and refrigeration equipment. See you then.